Hello. Even if you have attended multiple Zoom meetings or classes, there are still things that you probably don't know about Zoom that will make things a little bit easier for you. If you have never used Zoom before, we do have two different videos, one on the basics of using Zoom with a PC and one on using Zoom on an iPad. And you may want to watch those first before you watch this one. So here we're going to talk a little bit about some of the functions in Zoom that will make things a little bit easier for you. For OLLI at WVU classes, your room emails will come out approximately 1 to 2 hours before your class is supposed to start. Once you receive that email, you'll just click on the hyperlink. However, if that hyperlink doesn't work, I want you to note that you will have a meeting ID and perhaps a meeting password. The meeting ID will be either 9 or 11 characters, and that's what you will enter when prompted. So if for some reason the link for join Zoom meeting doesn't work, what you'll do is launch Zoom and then click join. So on the left here, this is what you'll see if you're using a computer. And on the right, this is what you would see if you were using an iPad. So you'll simply click join. Then that 9 or 11 digit number will be entered here or here, and you'll click join. If prompted, enter a password. If your meeting doesn't have a password, you will not be prompted. So what I want to talk about mostly today is how to make the screen work best for you. When you open a Zoom for the first time, you're going to end up in speaker view. Speaker view shows you the person who is currently talking. They're going to appear in the main part of the screen. Then along the top or in the bottom, you'll actually see the other participants. How many participants you can see at one time is going to depend upon how many people are in the meeting and how big your screen is. If you have a small screen for an iPad or a phone, you may only see a couple people at once. If you have a large screen, you'll see a lot more people. On a PC, in that lower left corner, that's where you're going to have your mute and your stop video. On an iPad, in the top right corner, that's where you're going to see your mute and stop video. When you are attending an OLLI class, you will be asked to turn off your video during the class when the instructor is speaking, as well as to mute yourself. The reason is so the class is not disrupted if you receive a phone call or somebody walks in the room to talk to you. So that's why you're asked to turn those things on and off. If the instructor has asked for you, if you have any questions, then you can unmute yourself. At the start of the class, and if the instructor has a break, you can actually unmute yourself and turn on your video and socialize a bit with your other classmates. The other things I want to point out are going to be the participants and the chat. So the participants will be along the bottom of the screen in a computer, and it'll be along the top of the screen on an iPad. Chat will actually appear under More in the iPad. It will be its own button if you're using a computer. So let's take a look at what we see on a computer. In the lower left corner, that's where our mute and stop video buttons are. Towards the center is where we're going to have chat, and then the participants button is right there. In the top right corner, that's where you're going to switch between gallery view and speaker view. So that's where that button is. On an iPad, your screen is going to look like this. In the left, that's where your button for a switch to gallery view is going to be, or if you're in gallery view, that will be your switch to speaker view icon. Towards the top, this is where you're going to find your mute, share or stop video, participants, and more. And then again at the bottom, that's where you can see the other speakers. So on a computer, Your speaker view and your gallery view will look like this. Again, the speaker view will show you who is talking at that moment. The gallery view lets you see as many people as will fit on the screen at one time. So if you're doing a happy hour or a meeting, you'll probably want to be in gallery view. If you're in class, you want to be in speaker view. On a tablet, this is how your gallery view, your speaker view is going to look, and this little button will say switch to gallery view. And this is how gallery view is going to look, and this button will say switch to active speaker. So you can quickly and easily switch between those two views during a class or meeting. During many classes, the instructor is actually going to use PowerPoint, and in some instances, you may not be able to see everything that's on the instructor's screen because of the video panel. There are several ways you can deal with this on a computer. One is that these three buttons right here will actually change how many video panels you see. So this one lets you see multiple video panels. This one lets you switch just to the active speaker, and this one minimizes the video panel. However, more useful is side by side. On a computer, what this means is you'll see the entirety of the PowerPoint slide, and then to the right, you'll see the active speaker. To get to this, you will click the button along the top of your screen that says View Options, and then side-by-side mode. On an iPad, you're going to be looking in the lower right corner, and there's going to be a little button right here, this minus sign. That will actually hide the active speaker view so you can see the entirety of the PowerPoint slide. If you want to bring the speaker back up, simply click on this video icon right here. Something that may be used by some instructors in class is chat. That can be used by an instructor to give you hyperlinks. It can also be used by you to send a question to the instructor, or to even send a private message to other people within the class. So that's a lot like passing notes that you probably didn't do in high school, because of course you were a good high school student who didn't. So when you click on the chat icon on a computer, it will be this icon here, and it will be along the bottom. If somebody has sent a message, it will turn orange briefly. This panel will open up, and you're going to have the option to not only read, but where it says to, you can send it to everyone in the meeting, or you can send it to a specific individual. So you can see if it says privately, that was sent only to you, or you could send a message to everyone in the meeting. On an iPad, you're going to look for that More button in the top right corner. When you click it, this menu is going to appear, and you're going to look for chat. Your chat is going to ask you, do you want to send a message to everyone or to a specific person in the class? Then you can simply type in your message, and you do have the option here to switch on the fly whether you wanted to send it to everyone or just one person. On a computer, the participants list is going to show you everyone who's in the class. It's also where you have the raise hand button. You can ask for the attention of the instructor. Now, not all instructors use that, so you may want to ask before the class starts if they will be using that. So raise hand is under participants. So you'll click on that participants button on a computer and then raise hand. So on an iPad, you're looking in the top right corner for the participants button. You will select yourself. It should say me beside you, and then you can click raise hand. Also, on an iPad, the raise hand option is available under more as well. One of the things that's very helpful for instructors is if you rename yourself. So on a computer, you're going to go into that participants list, and you're going to hold your cursor over top of your name. When you do that, you're going to get a More button. When you click on More, you get an option for rename. So simply change that name to reflect who you are. On an iPad, you're going to look in the top right corner for participants. You're going to click that, You're going to click on yourself, and then you have the option to rename from there. You do not need a paid account of any flavor to take an OLLI class or attend a happy hour. However, having a free account will allow you to do things like changing your avatar. So when you launch Zoom, you'll see one of these screens like this. When you click on sign in, if you don't already have an account, it will walk you through the process of setting it up. Make sure you have a unique password for Zoom, and make sure you write down what your username and password is so you can keep track of it and use it if you would like to attend on a different device. Once you have signed in, that's where you can change things like your avatar. So in the top right corner, you're going to click on that gear or settings icon. It's going to open up a screen here on the left side. You're going to choose profile, and it's going to show you this. So you're going to click on the box that will have your initials in it. Once you do that, you'll have the option to change your picture. So you can select a picture that's on your computer. Once you've found what you want, you'll click save. On an iPad or on a phone, you're going to again look for that settings, that gear icon. On an iPad, it'll be on the lower left corner. On a phone, it may be in the upper left corner. You're going to click on settings and then find yourself here and click on your name. Then where it says profile photo, that's where you'll click, and you can choose a new profile photo. So those are some of the commands that you may not know about that may make attending an OLLI class a little bit easier for you. I hope you found this useful, and I hope to see you in some of our classes.